Rants and Raves. My name is Ellie. I am your hostess with the mostest, and today we'll be giving our Alec, as it is his birthday month,
You remembered.
I did remember! As it is his birthday month, we're gonna let him rave about 1954's Godzilla. If you have not seen this Japanese horror yet, it's been out for so long, I don't know how you don't know the whole plot by this point. So sit back and relax and enjoy. So, Alec, it's your birthday month.
Yeah, I know. Oh my god, it's awful. I've got 1 year left.
You're turning 24. What? You're turning 24.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time is running out.
What? You're only a quarter of the way there. I just assume everybody lives to 100. That is not...
Very high hopes for, like, everyone, especially me. I mean,
unless we're gonna all die by this fucking virus, which, you know, that sounds fun, I guess.
I mean, you know.
So, I had to go into Walmart today to go buy, like, cleaning shit for the house, because I, too, am panicked.
Disinfect your surroundings.
Eggs, yeah. Shut up.
I saw that.
Lysol was fucking cleaned out. There were 5 cans left out of an entire aisle that's typically Lysol and Lysol type things.
Yeah.
None. Fucking 5. And then the bleach aisle was, like, also pretty minuscule.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But are you washing your hands, though?
Constantly. So, it being your birthday month, and us picking Godzilla, it's kind of perfect, right?
I think so. I mean,
yeah.
I like this movie. We had the pleasure... I feel weird going over this again. So...
oh yeah, by the way, this is take 2 of this podcast episode because I didn't feel like the first time we did it as much justice as it kind of deserved.
Yeah.
So,
but anyway, to recap for your benefit and my benefit, and everybody at home who didn't hear the first take, so we had the pleasure of going out and seeing this at the Alamo for a special screening. The original 1954 Godzilla release, the Japanese version, not the American version with cut-in scenes of an American reporter. The version that everybody should see. Is what we got to see.
I'm an American reporter.
I don't think you are.
I'm not.
Show me your press badge, Ellie.
It's a lot of effort.
That was a whole subplot in the 1998 Godzilla movie. Anyway, I managed to get you out of the house and go with me for this double feature, really. It was Godzilla and Parasite. We'll talk about Parasite another time after home release, because I was pushing Ellie's limits with her conscious time.
Yes. I naturally have to be up, and now that we started going to the gym before I go to work, I have to be up even fucking earlier now.
Yeah.
So, my, the time where I am at my peak is not at, what was it? Because it was pushing really late.
Yeah, Godzilla started at 7, and I think Parasite started at like 9:30. So
I thought it was later than that. I thought it was around like 10.
Could have been. I don't know.
But how long was Parasite?
I think it was like 2 hours. You didn't miss much, but still.
I did fall asleep for about 5 minutes.
And now Academy Award winning
I know.
Best Picture. Congratulations to Bong Joon-ho and the entire team.
What Parasite. I did see, I loved. So I can't wait to do an episode about that. Because
very well deserving.
Holy shit.
Yeah, but
so good.
Godzilla, 1954. It's an icon. It's this staple of global pop culture, not just Japanese culture, definitely not just American culture. You show anybody a bipedal lizard standing up straight on its hind legs, you're going to think Godzilla, especially if it's over 50 feet tall.
Or just a guy in a suit.
Yeah. Or that, that's also a thing. This was my second time seeing this particular movie. My first time was after the disappointing release of King of the Monsters last year, I believe. I was just kind of not happy with it. I didn't hate it at all. It just wasn't great. And I went home and I decided to just look up see if they had any classic Godzilla movies on demand, and they had the classic Godzilla movie on demand. And,
I think it's on I have Amazon Prime, and I think it's on there too. And I think it's also on Shudder, if you guys have Shudder.
Yeah. But that was my first time watching it, was coming home from King of the Monsters, and King of the Monsters did not really do anything for me. This movie did a lot for me. This movie holds up so well, almost 70 years later, I think. This movie is a classic monster movie, of course. We all know what it led to, the Showa-era cartoony sort of Godzilla, and the dark reimaginings, the not well-received 1998 American movie, the better-received 2014 reboot, also from American studios. This movie and this monster has had so many reinterpretations and reimaginings, but this movie that started it all is more than just a monster movie. Although it does wear its influences on its sleeve, especially with the Dr. Serizawa character. But this is a depressing movie that deals with very heavy subject matter. It's a very philosophical movie that dealing with the same subject matter. And for the Japanese people in 1954, less than 10 years after the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, this was a very cathartic experience. And that message and that feeling travels through time with this movie. So...
Look at you.
Yeah.
Getting to talk about your thing.
Yeah.
So, you had touched on... You said this is Showa era, right?
Yeah, this was the start of the Showa era, which... I don't know if you have an explanation there.
No. I have a question for you, because I don't know anything about... Godzilla is not my thing.
Yeah.
So, you're going to have to do some explaining to me.
Yes.
So, what does that mean?
Okay, so there are now 4 major eras of Godzilla. That's what happens when you have a character that lasts 70 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, think of like American comics. You've got the Golden Age, the Bronze Age, the Silver Age.
Okay.
So the Showa era, starting with the 1954 Godzilla movie, is named so because these are the movies that were produced when Emperor Showa, I think that's why it was called that, was still the ruler of Japan. And the Showa era ended when he died. Then the Heisei period started. And the Showa era was mostly made up of, again, cartoony, very child-friendly, very American-influenced Godzilla movies. This is that period of time where you've got Godzilla flying through the air by just curling up and using his radiation beam to propel himself forward, dancing in celebration after killing a monster. It was the very cartoony elements that you think of when you think of Godzilla came from this period.
Okay.
The Heisei period, I think, had the first sort of reboot. There are a few continuities with the Godzilla movies. Some of them ignoring the first movie entirely. Some of them being direct sequels to the first movie. And that's what we first saw with the Heisei period. Then we got the Millennium movies, which was a very short period. It's when you get your cooler, kind of grittier movies. This is when the first American Godzilla movie came out, which was, again, not well received, although I personally enjoy it.
You also like trash. You like trash movies. I like trash movies too.
Don't come at me like you don't like trash movies, okay?
Of course I like trash movies. Fuck you. There are certain levels to of the trash. I like campy movies. I don't like pure garbage like you like.
I wouldn't say I like pure garbage, okay?
Okay. Yes, you do. You support things that you shouldn't. We all know this.
Listen, the 1998 American release has its values.
Okay.
I think it's better than a lot of, like, Showa-era Godzilla movies. But I definitely understand where hardcore Godzilla fans are coming from with their dislikes of it. Probably the biggest thing is just the design of Godzilla. But that's a different conversation. So now we're in the fourth period of Godzilla movies. I don't know the name of this period. It just started a few years ago with the release of Shin Godzilla, which was another just hard reboot, complete reworking and reimagining of the character. Does not follow this movie, the 1954 movie, at all. Its own thing. That seems to have been a standalone movie. Toho now has plans to start a completely new Godzilla cinematic universe with all their properties, which, if you don't know, sounds like just another studio jumping on the cinematic universe bandwagon, but
they've been doing it for a lot longer than everybody else has, so...
Toho was one of the first to actually have that. Mothra, Rodan, Ghidorah, some of their biggest monster properties and biggest foes of Godzilla, all started out with their own standalone movies before Toho kind of just mashed them together.
Before the, Freddy versus Jason type.
Yeah. Before Marvel, before Tarantino even, not before the Universal Monsters movies.
Yeah.
Which are probably the earliest example of a cinematic universe. But anyway, so...
I guess technically, yeah.
Yeah. You could also argue that this MonsterVerse created by Legendary Pictures and Warner Brothers, although owned by Legendary Pictures, I think, starting with the 2014 American release, can also be a part of this fourth period of Godzilla movies. But we will see how Godzilla vs. King Kong works out with that.
Are there any things that, so, when we see, Batman, there's always certain staples that Batman has in every single one of those movies. Mm-hmm. The suit pretty much looks the same, kind of, with, got the big bat symbol, all that stuff. He has a Batmobile, blah, blah, blah. Are there things...
ears...
Yeah, are there things like that with Godzilla, or have they all taken their own different directions, or...
Well, I think it's funny you bring that up, because if anything, that's the biggest takeaway from the 1998 American movie, is that there are staples for the Godzilla character that you need to have. So, I told you this story last time, but the creature designers... fun fact, the creature designer for the 1988 movie, his last name was Totopoulos, which is where they got the name for Matthew Broderick's character in the movie. Anyway.
Neat.
Yeah. But anyway, creature designers, they, American remake, and also quick fun fact, Godzilla in this 1954 movie is a mutated dinosaur that has survived,
I did read that.
Yeah, millions of years. So,
a combination of a whole bunch of... Yeah.
And being a fictional dinosaur, it was based on the science of the time. Mm-hmm. That dinosaurs stood upright, that their tails dragged behind them, stuff like that.
They make big roaring sounds, or I hope they make fluffy kitten noises.
Yeah. So, 40 years later, the science has advanced. We have a better understanding of dinosaurs, due in no small part to Jurassic Park, which came out just a few years prior. And so now they're kind of redesigning this giant dinosaur-like monster to be more giant dinosaur-like. So Godzilla in this movie no longer stands upright. He's leaning forward like a T-Rex. He looks like an iguana for some reason. There's a reason in story, the tests that mutated him were near a highly iguana-populated island. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have radiation breath in this movie. There is one sort of wink, wink, nudge, nudge moment where he screams at street level and a bunch of cars crash together and it's a ball of fire moving towards our characters. But it's not radiation breath. So there are huge differences. And what's funny is that Totopoulos and the creature designers, they had guidelines from Toho about what they do need to keep when redesigning their character. He has to have 3 fingers and a thumb. His feet need to have 3 toes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they, cobbled together their design. And these guys weren't the first Americans to try to redesign Godzilla either. American studios have been trying to make a Godzilla movie for like 20 years at this point. So they finally make their design. They go to Japan to show it off to the Toho executives, try to get their approval or extra notes. They show their design to Toho. Toho says, "Come back tomorrow." And so Totopoulos and the creature designers, they're all anxious. They're like, "Oh fuck, we're gonna have to go back to the drawing board. We're gonna have to completely redo it." They hate it. They go back the next day, and Toho tells them, "So this is way too fucked for us to give you any notes. Just go and do your thing.
Go have fun."
Yeah, and people did not like it. I personally like the design. It's very sleek, very cool, and of course I grew up with it. But to bring us back to that question, like Batman, like these decades-old staple characters,
like Mickey Mouse, Disney has this entire now it's completely different level.
Yeah.
Disney owns everything, including our lives and
yeah,
homes.
and if they don't, they soon will.
Like Mickey Mouse has to look a certain way in every reproduction of Mickey Mouse, right?
Red shorts, the ears always face the same direction no matter what way his head is facing.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was something similar.
Yeah, so that 1998 movie showed that, you kind of do need Godzilla to look like Godzilla every single time. So when the 2014 American movie came around, it looked like they really hit the nail on the head. But of course they were using a viral marketing method, so you weren't really ever going to know until you went and saw the movie.
Yeah.
And boy did they fucking nail it. So the big thing to take away is that you need the right silhouette for Godzilla. He does need to stand upright. He can't be leaning forward like a T-Rex.
Yeah.
He does need to have fighting arms, not sort of like just longer T-Rex arms like the 1998 movie
He needs
had.
to be able to swing.
Exactly. Like, he needs to look like he can... He needs to basically look like a guy in a suit. And the design for the legendary Godzilla is very widely received as one of the best designs of the character. There were some controversies with Japanese message boards calling him fat. Haha, the American Godzilla's fat. But it's a great design, and they only improved upon it with the sequel, King of the Monsters, where they kind of slimmed him down a little bit, made him look a little more muscular. They made his dorsal fins even bigger and more in the shape of the 1954 Godzilla. So yeah, there are definitely things there that you would need to keep when reimagining your character. Shin Godzilla is probably the most crazy reimagining of the character, but he's still got those things that you expect from Godzilla.
Yeah.
He's still standing up straight. He's still got the dorsal plates.
Yeah.
His arms are a lot smaller, but he's not a fighter in that movie. He's a force of nature, so it's acceptable. But that's...
Proud of you.
Yeah, that's my long answer for you.
Good. Okay. So we see Godzilla references everywhere in TV, film.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Literally everywhere. What do you think this film has done for pop culture?
Oh my goodness. This film has provided one of those icons that you instantly recognize with just a wink and a nudge.
Yeah.
You throw a standing upright bipedal lizard into anything, and people are going to make the Godzilla connection.
Yeah.
You've got Reptar, you've got Lizzie from the Rampage games.
Yeah.
Which was way redesigned for the movie and for good reason, I guess.
Stitch did it in Lilo and Stitch.
Yes.
Where he builds his little town.
Yeah, he did. And it was great.
It was so cute. Because she's just sitting there staring at him while he just full blown goes apeshit on this little town he built.
So this movie, 1954's Godzilla, provided a character that really could mean anything that you want your story that you want it to mean to serve to your story. One of the best things that the 2014 movie did was not move completely away from the nuclear devastation analog, but reimagined Godzilla as a unstoppable force of nature, more akin to a hurricane or an earthquake, a natural disaster that you can't do anything about. You just have to clean up afterwards. But the fact that the messages and ideas from this particular movie about weapons of mass destruction and finding practical means for destructive tools and the morality of that argument, the fact that that all still holds up and carries forward almost 70 years later, and you recognize that with even a parody of this fictional dinosaur, it says a lot. It says a lot about the message that was told so long ago, about the events that inspired that message, and the discussions and arguments that we have to this very day about those very things. The Chernobyl miniseries on HBO last year, it has nothing to do with Godzilla, but at the same time it has everything to do with Godzilla, you know? Because of the nuclear devastation on display in that very real-life event. When the bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, nobody knew anything about radiation. Nobody knew that it existed until we saw the devastation of it. There are horror stories, true stories that read like horror stories from those bombings. And the true horror of it wasn't going to be known for so long after the bombings. And that message carries forward with this movie and the movies that came from it and the character that stays through for decades.
You're so good at giving answers.
I try my best. I'm not good at giving short answers, but...
No, you're not. But it's okay. I didn't want short answers.
It's a story.
This is the full podcast episode just dedicated to you getting to talk about this thing that you love.
Aww.
So, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So, this is the granddaddy of all monster movies.
Yes it is.
Yes, it is. How do you think this film has affected how other monster movies are made?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Isn't that fun?
Oh, yeah.
I worked really hard on these.
I mean, it's the granddaddy in iconography. It's not the granddaddy in they were the first to do it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You knew what you were picking up what I was putting down.
Yeah, I know what you meant. But like King Kong was an American movie made in the 1933, came out like over 20 years before this. And then we
Imagine
also...
how horrifying that would be, like a giant... Just gorillas are already
just throwing
scary.
Shit everywhere.
Holy
and,
fuck.
Yeah.
I think about that sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, that'd be horrifying.
And also, there was another American movie which kind of directly inspired 1954's Godzilla called The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yes.
But how this movie affected how monster movies are made from then on, it wasn't the first movie to make its monster a character. King Kong did that. Frankenstein did that before in literature. But I think it was the first to kind of capture destruction on such a wide scale.
Yeah.
The city of Tokyo gets destroyed by the end of this movie. I think this movie kind of captured how to really sell emotional devastation in addition to physical devastation.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie, which the American version completely ruins.
As we tend to do that.
Yeah, we do that. It's when Tokyo is being destroyed, there is a shot of a mother with her 2 or 3 children, and their house is crumbling around them. It's about to collapse on top of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire city is on fire. And all that she can tell her children is, we'll be with Daddy soon. And that's probably the height of catharsis in this movie for the families of the victims of Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Because you're not running away.
Yeah, you can't run away.
What are you going to... Yeah, you just have to accept the fact that... You have to think about that, too. You see it coming, and you can't do anything about it.
No, you can't. Just like the victims of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, that the lucky ones died instantly.
Yeah.
The unlucky ones had to deal with radiation-induced cancers, keloid scars, and just very, very slow, painful deaths.
Yeah.
And their families had to deal with trying to move on without that, trying to move on without them, and trying to rebuild. So I think that's kind of the influence that this movie had on how to make monster movies from here. Because it can't just be destruction and spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, destruction and spectacle is fine. We all love it.
Just like hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Torture porn isn't really scary. It's just...
Yeah, but if you want your movie to have an impact, if you want your movie to...
It's got to be emotional.
Exactly. You need to have an emotional base for your audience to relate to and to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like American horror doesn't necessarily get.
Yeah. I think so.
In my opinion.
So I think...
Because how else are you supposed to... It's like when you're watching a drama or anything, there has to be some kind of emotion. There has to be some connection there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think... So the 1998 movie didn't really understand that. But I think the 2014
Big monster,
movie,
let it break stuff and let's film it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the 1998 movie, they kind of tried to tie it to an event that New Yorkers would understand, the bombing of the World Trade Center just a couple years prior to the release of the movie, which has since been very dated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, that. But like...
I don't think we have to explain that.
No. But like, you have a giant lizard just like punching holes straight through buildings. It's not a thing that people really can understand. Like, it's cartoony.
Yeah.
You know? But when you get to the 2014 Godzilla movie, where your monster is basically a hurricane or an earthquake, and
that's a little more understandable.
It is, yeah. Like, you don't even see the monster battles until the third act. It's all teased. It's the Jaws slow burn approach. What you mostly see is the aftermath and the devastation and the army and FEMA coming in trying to reconnect families.
Yeah.
It's something that you can understand. It's something that we see all the time.
Yeah.
It's something that everybody has probably dealt with before. That's the lesson to be learned, I think, from this movie.
Neat.
Yeah.
Proud of you. So I only have one more question.
Okay.
Because I figured, I know you.
I'm a talker.
And especially about this, that you're gonna talk for a while. So this movie has 30 sequels. I looked it up.
Wow.
That's a lot. Holy shit.
And 2 cartoon series.
Yeah, it's a huge catalog of fucking movies.
Yeah.
So if you're ever bored one day and need to waste a week.
And this is over the course of 70 years.
Yeah.
The MCU did 20 movies in 10. So
can you name me your top 5?
Oh man, top 5.
Out of fucking 30.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna count.
You need a bathroom break or like?
So I haven't seen every Godzilla movie, but I think I have seen at least 5.
I mean,
yeah,
it's pretty understandable. That's fucking 30.
Yeah. Okay, go away.
Oh, Kowalski.
So at the top is the OG 1954 Godzilla.
As it should be.
Yes, as it should be.
Just like, if the original Dracula isn't your favorite Dracula, then go home. We didn't ask you to be here. You just showed up.
At number 2, I think it's going to be 2014's Godzilla.
Okay.
I hear that Shin Godzilla is easily also in the top 3, but I haven't seen it. So my third, just because I grew up with it and I do still find some enjoyment in it, it's going to be 1998's Godzilla, the American release. Numbers 4 and 5.
Out of 30.
Yeah. Godzilla versus Destroyer.
Okay.
Or Destroya.
That's my new stripper name. I've decided it.
Destroya?
Yeah. Imagine how badass that would be. What would your stage thing be? Leave us down in the comments below. If that was your stripper name, what would your routine be?
And I can't remember the name of this particular movie. There's so many wacky names for the Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
But the movie where Godzilla is possessed by evil spirits and he's actually a villain in the movie, and Ghidorah gets to shine this one time as a hero in the movie. That's my number 5.
Proud of you.
No.
Do you have anything else to add?
I mean, to the discussion of Godzilla, no. I mean, this is an icon that has been dissected for decades. Same with this movie. I am so happy that we had the opportunity to go and see this on the big screen.
It was a very cool event.
Yeah, what an event! What a thing to get to enjoy and have the pleasure.
If you guys are local, please check out Psycho Cinema. It's always so much fun when you go. Mm-hmm. It's typically on Tuesdays, right? If they're doing and then they have some Saturday stuff. The cereal party, that was so much fun. Mm-hmm. When we went to go we saw them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the cereal parties.
Oh my God. And I love them.
Yeah.
I like older horror movies. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was a super cool event.
I really was happy that we got to do that. I was really happy that you joined me for that.
And I'm not that into Godzilla, and I had the fucking best time.
Yeah. I think this was also your second time seeing it.
Yeah. Second time, period.
Yeah. I'm sorry that we didn't talk too much about this specific movie, more the idea and the icon of the character. But I think I sprinkled in all the important stuff. This movie is amazing. It holds up so well. It has very mature themes and ideas that it talks about. It's a very depressing movie with depressing subject matter. It's a very philosophical movie with the Dr. Serizawa character and the oxygen destroyer, which they use to kill Godzilla, and Dr. Serizawa also uses to kill himself at the same time, so that his invention can't be used against people eventually. Yeah. Dr. Serizawa is very steeped in the pulpy, mad scientist creature features from before, like Frankenstein.
Frankenstein's my favorite.
Yeah. Just if you ever have the opportunity to see this on the big screen, because some people do get to run it, like Faye gets to run it for Psycho Cinema.
She has my dream job, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I know, I'm so jealous.
I want to be Elvira, and I want to do that.
Even if you don't have the opportunity to see it on a big screen, watch it at home. The first time I watched it was home alone, very late at night, and it was a very resonant experience. My Screaming Peach rating for 1954's Godzilla, it is a perfect 10 out of 10. Okay.
I will agree with you on this because it's your birthday.
Not yet.
Well, birthday celebrated podcast episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have anything else to add?
Here's my Venmo if you want to send
me.
Oh
my God. Don't do that.
No.
Shit.
Follow me on Patreon. $5 pledges get weekly feet pics.
Yay!
No, I have nothing else to add. Please take the time out of your day to watch this movie. You just gotta. This is one of those things that you have to see if you're a lover of film.
Yeah. a lover of horror films, too.
Yeah, or monster movies or anything. If you love anything, you gotta watch Godzilla.
I feel like if you love film, there are certain staples of things that you have to see.
Yeah.
And these older horror movies are things you just have to see. You
Yeah.
have to have at least seen it once. Just like people who have never seen Ghostbusters, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, were you not raised right?
Yeah.
There's staples.
Yeah.
Staples.
Like, if your dad would have had it in his VHS collection, you should probably watch it.
Like, fuckers who've never seen Star Wars, I still meet people who've never seen Star Wars.
No, I
And
just don't understand.
I don't know what's mentally wrong with them or emotionally wrong with them,
Like,
but
how
they're
can
dead
you
inside.
exist and never watch a Star Wars movie?
Like, just at least one.
Yeah.
Like, how could you have never seen one of them?
Yeah.
Even just accidentally. Like, they're fucking, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get
I
it.
don't understand either.
Anyways.
That's all I have to say. Do you have any thoughts?
Comment down below if you guys have any other movies you would like for us to talk about.
Yes, please.
Next episode, we'll not leave Alec on his soapbox.
It's cold up here.
Please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, ring the bell if you want to see, more of our fucking content.
Yeah, if you hit the bell, you actually get notified.
Yeah,
when we upload
exactly.
Stuff.
Exactly.
So, yeah, comment down below. Follow us on the socials.
Yeah.
There you can... we sometimes ask you on our social media accounts your thoughts on the movie that we're about to cover.
Yes.
So that's a good reason to go and follow us. If
We
you'd like
definitely
your
want to
opinion
hear
to be
your.
featured.
We definitely want to hear your thoughts.
Yes.
Because we like to interact. Oh my god, am I yawning? Anyways. You guys have a good day, and a good night, and a pleasant tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to a Peaches and Scream podcast. My name is Ellie, and please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe.